Here we are again with another travel talk. It's Emily Kaufman, the travel mom. And you know I love wine, and I know most of you do too. And like I've said many times, I'm always learning about it. I know what I like and what I don't like, and that's about it. So I've enlisted the help of my friend Kim Stare Wallace. She's the owner of Dry Creek, and they have got so many delicious wines and such a wonderful place to visit. So when the time is right, you go to Sonoma County, I want you to check out Dry Creek Vineyards because they're unintimidating, they're warm and welcoming, and they're happy to share their knowledge. And today, Kim is going to share her knowledge with us all about Cabernet. Hey, Kim.
Hi, Emily. How are you? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you too. Where are you?
I am in the middle of the tasting room all by myself. And you. And so I'm not by myself, but I'm right in the middle of the tasting room.
So we've talked about rosé at length. What is it that makes Cabernet different and unique?
So Cabernet, of course, is really considered the king of red wines. It's by, many people feel that it's the most noble of red wines. It originated in Bordeaux, France, but of course it's widely planted throughout the world, and certainly here in Sonoma County and of course in Napa Valley. Cabernet is a very multi-dimensional red wine that, depending on where it's grown, can take on different nuances. So in a cooler climate, it might get a little bit more herbaceous. In a warmer climate, like here in Dry Creek Valley, that has the perfect temperate climate, we get beautiful bright red cherry tones and some nice dried savory spice tones and just very beautiful layers of flavor. And we get beautiful balance, which is why it makes it such a great wine to pair with food.
So I've poured a little bit of the Cabernet. And
so did I.
One of the first times we talked together, we talked about the steps. So let's review those really quickly. We're going to swirl it.
We're going to swirl. That's right. And that opens up the wine and allows the aromas to really jump out of the glass, if you will. And then you're going to really, really inhale or smell it. Give it a really good smell. And then take a nice sip, not a big gulp, but a sip, and let it sit on your palate or on your mouth for a while before you swallow it.
So I got my nose way in the glass.
And during that process, the wine will, we call it opening up. It will change, it will develop. When you very first open, usually something like a Cabernet that has a little more tannin, which is the drying sensation that occurs on the sides of your mouth, the more you open the wine up, the more that will go away and the wine will develop. But I think one of the things that's really important with Cabernet is to have the right kind of Cabernet. So there are very big, bold, tannic Cabernets. I call them Cabernets that kind of, rip the roof right out of your mouth. Well, there's a time and a place for maybe that kind of a Cabernet. But with food pairing, you really want to look for a Cabernet that has balance. And when I say balance, I mean every component is in balance. So the acidity, the fruit, the tannin, which is that drying sensation that I mentioned, everything's beautifully balanced so that it doesn't overpower what you're eating, right?
So I am enjoying the taste of this very much. I traditionally have thought about Cabernet going with red meat. What else is something that you would pair a Cabernet with?
Well, that is the natural. So any kind of meat, it can be, obviously beef, so steak or even hamburger, but also pork sometimes. But I particularly like it with lamb, grilled lamb chops or a grilled leg of lamb. Just Cabernet is very versatile for most heartier dishes, which tend to be meat-based. However, Cabernet can be really nice with vegetarian style dishes. So I like it with grilled vegetables with polenta, for example. Any kind of, I love it with a risotto. If you do like a mushroom risotto and some nice, sort of spices and maybe a real kind of warm sort of savory dish like that can be beautiful with a Cabernet, and you don't need to have meat. We have a recipe that we wanted to share with you, Emily, that's a favorite for our family, and it is actually a sauce made out of mushrooms and stock, beef stock, and some pretty simple ingredients that everybody probably has in their house right now. And it's pretty easy to make. You do have to have Cabernet because you put a little Cabernet in the sauce. And you can serve that over, grilled filet or some kind of a some kind of a grilled steak. Super yummy, super easy, which is really the way I like to cook. Yummy.
So
and
what are
easy.
some of the basic ingredients that are in the sauce that people?
So you need some mushrooms. You need a little bit of wine vinegar, a couple of cups of stock, a little bit of thyme, a little bit of butter, and really good Cabernet. So try, a lot of times people, when they're cooking with wine, they want to use really cheap wine. And I always advise people, don't cook with it if you wouldn't drink with it. It's sort of like, don't put something in your body that you wouldn't feel good about. So you don't have to use the most expensive Cabernet in your cellar, maybe, to make this sauce, but a nice Cabernet will make it be a better sauce. So you just saute the mushrooms, and it's really simple.
Anything that's really simple sounds really great to me. Kim, you are a wealth of information for me and for everybody else.
I have to show you something, Emily. So remember the very first time we got together a couple weeks ago, I told you it's really important to have the right glass.
Yes.
I've been drinking a lot of wine lately, and so I've upgraded my glass. So this will be my new Cabernet glass that I'm planning to be drinking out of. And in about 3 or 4 hours later this afternoon, when I start my TGIF, this is it.
Well, Kim, I'll toast with you to that one.
Cheers.
Cheers. And thanks again for all the great information. Dry Creek Vineyard, one of my very favorite places. Great wines, great people. Can't wait to get back there in person and celebrate together.
Absolutely. I cannot wait.
Cheers.